First and foremost, thanks for joining us on Astro SuperSport, James. It's really nice to meet you, but unfortunately, we are sort of meeting under not the most positive of circumstances with how the season has started. But it has to be said that it's still very, very early on in the season. Just kind of tell me what's been the mood in the camp like, and what the manager has said so far.
Yeah, I feel like that over the past couple of games we've found out a lot about ourselves and we can push on in certain areas and hopefully pick up the 3 points on the weekend and keep pushing forwards towards the first international break.
Is it particularly frustrating for you personally because you obviously had a lengthy injury last season, and with how last season panned out at the end when you came back from injury, surely you would have wanted to make an immediate impact from the off this season, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've not started it how we'd like to or how I'd personally like to, but I feel like we've set the foundation and we know what we need to improve on and there's positives out of the first two games also and yeah, we just need to bear those things in mind.
So what are those positives that you speak of, and what are the improvements that you think needs to be worked on? And what were Leicester City's goals initially set out for the season?
Yeah, I feel like our main thing for this season was European qualification, no matter how we can get it. And a few positives from the start of the season was people were returning back fit from injury and in their internationals and getting all together again in the pre-season camp. And also that we've scored a lot of goals in the first two games and yeah, it's definitely a positive thing. And then a few things that we can obviously work on is keeping it tight at the back really and stop leaking goals in bad situations and bad times. So that's something that we need to address and we'll get that under control.
You mentioned about the defensive issues there. It has been a summer of change in many ways with losing Kasper Schmeichel. He's important not just on the pitch, but also a big figure in the dressing room, right? He was your captain. But when things are a little bit uncertain at the moment, who do you normally look to in that dressing room? Who's been the one who's sort of stepped up and kind of rally everybody together?
Yeah, I mean, as he's our new skipper, but even before he was our captain, it was Johnny Evans that everyone used to look for advice because he's been at one of the biggest clubs in the world. He's been and done most things in the game, and so when we're under pressure, we look to him to be that voice and to help us all out.
So what sort of advice has Johnny Evans given you in the past?
Yeah, I mean, he gives me lots of advice, to be honest, because we play next to each other. It's just a few simple things in terms of positioning and understanding the game, but yeah, he's been a huge help ever since I've been here.
So how big of a loss has Casper been? How much is he missed for you personally?
Yeah, he's a massive figure at not only in the dressing room but at the club as a whole, and he will be missed. But everyone's time has to come to an end at some point, and his was now. But I'm sure he'll be missed. But we've got to move on without him and make sure we do our best.
So who's your best mate in the dressing room then?
I'd say probably in the dressing room it'd be Harvey Barnes, just because we're quite similar in age, and yeah, I just get on with him really well.
Is he a sort of a joker sort of personality, or?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what he's doing. I'm more laughing at him at times, to be honest. But yeah, he's a big personality, and yeah, he's a good friend.
Well, of course, we know of Leicester City's achievements. They've had some amazing feats, winning Premier League, most recently the FA Cup. But do you sort of feel that these achievements can be a bit of a double-edged sword in the sense of obviously there's now a lot more expectations and pressure on Leicester City every season?
Yeah, I mean that comes with the success that we've been having over the last few years, and we can move on from that. And to be a big team, you need to expect the big pressure, and that's what the manager always tells us, and that's what we expect.
Earlier, you were talking about certain improvements that needs to be made on the team. So I was just looking at Leicester City's record at defending set pieces, which I'm sure you're well aware of. It has been particularly poor last season. Why do you think that is, and what sort of work been put in place of late to try to improve that aspect of the game?
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to put a finger on what was going wrong last season, or else, I mean, everyone would have found the solution for us. And but it was a combination of a few things probably. But we've been working on it hard this pre-season, and this season hopefully we can have a good year in the set piece department.
Any particular improvements that you're working on the training pitch to help to improve that?
I think we're spending a lot more time on them now as well, and a lot more in detail and in depth, and we've got a lot of feedback from our set pieces. So yeah, it should be a good season.
So, do you feel that the manager and the team is doing the best considering the circumstances, like you mentioned, injuries last season, and this season as well, not the best of starts? And do you feel the criticism and frustration from fans have been fair, or have they been unjust?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their right to an opinion at the end of the day, but we just keep our heads down and keep working about what we've got. Keep working with what we've got here, and we'll try every week to put the best out on the field and give it our all for the badge.
So, how do you personally shut out the noise, or do you actually read these comments online in particular? Or do you engage with the fans, or do you just completely block it out?
For me personally, I just block it out. As soon as I get home, there's like hardly any social media about, so it's easy for me to block it out. But for some other players, it might be a bit tougher if they're more active. But yeah, we all hear stories about this, that, and the other. But we're all working on one main goal here, and that's to qualify for European football next season.
Right then, thanks, James, for joining us here on Astro SuperSport. All the best for the rest of your season.
Thank you. It's nice to speak to you.